unity in diversity. You cannot do anything if you are not united. And that's why at the country level, at the sub-regional level, at the continental level, we need to be united.
Welcome back again to my program. This is African Streamline, and I am Atamba Haiti. Now, I want to talk about 4 main important things today. Very important things that are very fundamental, very significant, very sensitive. I want to talk about 4 things today. Number 1, unity in diversity. That is number 1. Number 2, we have what we call natural resources benefication. Okay. Number 3, we have youth empowerment, and number 4, we are talking about careful with communication and technology. Now, these are 4 main things that have been tackled, that have been spoken about with the one and only, the first female president in the history of Namibia, Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah. I played this speech earlier, but I didn't went deeper on what she was talking about. Okay. And therefore, when I was going through this video once again, I realized this woman talked about 4 main important things in the whole speech that he was speaking about. I managed to gather some other clips that I could use to support the speech that was spoken by Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah, because we are looking forward to develop a great Africa. Okay, we are making Africa great. And how can we make Africa great? We cannot just wake up one morning and decide we want to make Africa great, but we have to put in measures, and there are some things, there are some approaches we need to look forward to. We need to take so that we can be able to make Africa great again as we want to make it look like, okay? Because this whole thing of revolution and liberation is coming, yes, but how is it going to come? It's not going to be easy for it to come. We have to wear our boots, we have to wear our jackets and take our umbrellas, get out there and make sure, even with rain, even with sun, even with mud, even with water splashing all over, we can be able to walk through these journey and revolve Africa. So Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah spoke about these 4 things, and they are very, very, very fundamental. I want you to take time and listen to Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah. This short clip that she's talking about she's talking about unity in diversity. She's talking about natural resources and benefication. She's talking about youth empowerment. She's talking about being careful with communication technology, as it might temper with our mental character. And therefore, after you have listened to her, we shall come back and give a reaction on how on this video that I'm going to play for you.
Unity in diversity. You cannot do anything if you are not united. And that's why at the country level, at the sub-regional level, at the continental level, we need to be united. So our theme is more local, that we talk about unity in diversity, natural resources benefication. We have to add the value to our natural resources, whether in the land or in the sea. Like now we have the oil and gas which are discovered. We have really 2. And then you say youth empowerment. Our focus is to empower our young people. And when we talk about empowering the young people, not just to create jobs for them, but to make them, they should be the job creators. So we must just create an environment for them to be more innovative and then to be in charge of their own natural resources. These natural resources are ours. I don't know why some people want to make a debate. They belong to Namibians. But we know we might not have a money to invest. But if you don't have the money, it does not mean this thing does not belong to you. You have to take advantage of you having that critical resources and see how you can balance with the one who's bringing in the money. So he cannot do anything if my resource is not there. So this is what should be the attitude in the whole continent if we have to make progress. So natural resources benefication for youth empowerment and sustainable development. Unless really we make use of our resources, we will not bring about prosperity, which will mean sustainable development. So that is really where I'm seeing Africa. Currently, resources are being discovered. I don't even want to believe they are discovered. They knew. They are just now saying it's here because they wanted them. And we should really be strong enough, not just allow them to come and take.
And united.
We must be united. And our young people, they must really be alert. I know that our young people, they are hungry, they are frustrated, they are desperate, they are starting to lose trust in their governments, and that can be very dangerous for them just to be taken out, to be carried away, and by the time they realize they are in forever. So that is really, and that's why I believe on intergenerational. And that's why I believe on engagement between generations so that we can live in harmony and make sure that we sustain our future. So I'm seeing Africa, if we are not united, if we are not doing the same things that what we are saying, we will end up to be back under colonial occupation in a different way. And we have to be careful also with the communication technology, the social media. It can easily
false information, manipulation,
mental manipulation can be there. It's really, it's so sad. I said I'm not anti-technology, but I'm afraid if we did not handle it properly, it can be used to manipulation and then mental colonization, which will then make us to suffer more and forever because you can't pinpoint that these are occupying my territory.
Exactly.
Like how it was easy for us to identify our colonizer. And then the whole world has to come to our support.
Have you ever asked yourself a question? Have you ever sat down and asked yourself, what do you think that unity in this continent can do to Africa? Have you ever sat down and asked yourself this question? That what is it that unity can do to us? Do you know what unity can do to Africa? Do you know what unity can do to this continent, to this beloved, to this wonderful continent? Do you know how and what unity is capable of doing? That is the question I've been asking myself for quite some time. Because I think the only strongest approach we can take to easily revolve and liberate Africa is unity. That is the main and the biggest approach. Because one person, it is going to be very difficult for one person to liberate this continent, to liberate Africa as a whole. But it can be very easy if too many people come together and decide this is what we are going to do. So have you ever sat down and asked yourself, or have you ever thought to some point what unity can do to the continent of Africa? Take a look.
We want one Africa, one president, one parliament, one military command center, one currency that will be based on our minerals as the African continent. Ourselves and Zimbabwe alone account for not less than 85% of the world platinum. Imagine we become one thing and we hold our platinum and say we're determining the price now, like they do with the oil, those who have the oils, the Arabs and all of that. Although their oil is based on dollar, but they are benefiting out of it and they've developed their countries based on their natural resources. So we need one Africa, and we must speak in one voice. That's how the Security Council is going to respect us. That's how China is going to respect us. How can Swaziland go and negotiate with China and say we are equal to China? Swaziland, Lesotho, Botswana, on the base of what? Size matters in politics. And the more we come together, the more the world will respect us. That structure has been there for quite some time, and the world has evolved over a period of time. And if that is the case, to have these guys who are permanent members of the Security Council because of what happened post the World War II, but there's been this huge development which include decolonization of Africa and doing away with apartheid and liberation of African countries. So when that Security Council was formed in that way, we were under these people who are in the Security Council. Now we are on our own. Why can't we get ourselves a permanent seat in the Security Council? But no one must have the veto powers. It must be a decision of the majority. That's how democracy works. If you want to go to Nigeria to go and try some business opportunities or anything of that sort, wake up in the morning and go. Why are the Europeans allowed to do it? They eat breakfast in Milan in Italy and go and sleep in Paris without a hassle. And we are not allowed because the unity of Africa is a threat to certain people. And they say, no, these foreigners take our jobs and all of that. I say, if we find a foreigner working here at Kaya FM, he didn't employ himself. He was employed by the bosses here. So you cannot fight this one. You have to fight the bosses that we must be given preference. Let's not allow them to make us fight amongst ourselves because they enjoy that. They hire foreigners and then they come to you and say, you can't get jobs because foreigners have taken jobs all over. But who employs these people? It's the same people who are saying foreigners have taken jobs.
Now, welcome back again. That is what unity can do. When Africans are united, if black people all overcome together, they become a threat. And that is one thing that it really gives a headache to the West. Because there is nothing that can be a threat. There is nothing that can be very dangerous as unity. Now, Natumbo Nandi Ndaitwah talks about unity in diversity, and she goes ahead and says natural resources benefication should also be considered both from the land and from the sea. Now, these natural resources should benefit Africa. There is no way that Africa would be producing a lot of resources, and at the end of the day, the resources that Africa is producing gets to a point when it is useless, because Africa produces a lot of resources, and at the end of the day, you'd come and realize that the resources they produced or the resources they are producing do not benefit themselves as Africans. We produce a lot, but we consume so little. PLO Lumumba once upon a time said, Africa is producing what it does not consume and consumes what it does not produce. What does it mean? We produce a lot of things in terms of resources, in terms of minerals. All these minerals are exported into foreign countries. What we get in return is a piece of cake. Just like Dr. Arikana said someday, whatever we get in return in form of payment for the resources or for the minerals we have exported, it's just but a piece of cake. So the resources and the minerals of Africa as a continent should be and should remain in Africa and benefit the people of Africa. Natumbo Nandi Ndaitwah went ahead and talks about youth's employment. She does not only talk about youth's employment. She does not only focuses on the youth's employment, but she says that we should help our youths. We should put our youths in a position where they can be able to acquire skills, not where they are learning and graduating, and at the end of the day, the masters and the degrees they have and the PhDs they have, they don't help them. We need to put our youths in a position where they can be able to create jobs themselves. Then after placing them in a point where they can be able to create jobs themselves, they will come again and now start working on the minerals and on the resources that Africa is producing. Because they have skills, they've gone to school, they've been taught the skills, they have the skills. We will not need to hire people from abroad or from the foreign countries to come and help us manufacture the gold that we are mining. Because we shall have youths that have been taught skills. These skills they have been taught in schools will be useful in the continent, not out continent. Just like Ibrahim Traore is doing in Burkina Faso. Our children needs to be given skills. They need to actually be issued with skills. These skills, they are being issued. Just take a look, just listen to what Ibrahim Traore says about this.
We have launched several initiatives, both in the agricultural sector and in the fields of education, health, and community development. And through these initiatives for education, we want to build our schools, our grandes écoles here, to train our elites so that they can serve Burkina Faso. That is why I would urge you to go all out so that we can establish these elite schools, so that these talented individuals do not end up going abroad. Because for a long time, imperialists have always drawn talent from here through scholarships. Once they are home, they do not return to the country. I do not want these brains that are here to end up abroad and not serve our country. Make sure that these initiatives succeed and that we can establish the polytechnic and technological universities we need so that these children can express all their talents and work for the benefit of our homeland.
When our children be able to get skills, these skills will be used. It will be consumed here in Africa. They will not have to go out to use these skills or to utilize these skills somewhere else. So we need to teach our youths how to create jobs. We give them skills. Okay? Now, this will lead to a sustainable development. Because when we have youths who are assets, youths who are in the country, working in the country, okay, doing jobs in the country, it means the economy of the country is going to grow. It means the development of the country is going to grow. So we shall have a sustainable development because we have youths who are not unemployed, but also they are not only employed, but also creators of jobs and employments using their skills that have been issued in schools. That is what Natumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah is saying. She goes ahead and says, we must also be careful with our communication and technology. Because the communication and technology in this country and in this nation and in the world has really tempered with the lives of people. Mentally and physically and also spiritually. Natumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah goes ahead and talks about being careful with communication and technology. Communication and technology has tempered the lives of people both spiritually, mentally, and physically. And therefore, communication and technology can make impact in your lives either positively or negatively. And therefore, we must be very careful with how we are using our technology and communication. The Western countries have used this so much in many occasions to actually input many things in the minds of the people in the world. And that is why black people or other Africans, they have a lot of things they are doing today. They are doing it because of the internet, because of the technology that came. Even the cultures of the Western people, we learned about the cultures of the Western people through communication and technology. Okay, that is what we did. And therefore, some things sometimes even we are being manipulated because of the communication and technology. And we must be very careful with the communication and technology. But the most important thing that Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah talked about today is about unity. When we talk about unity, when it comes to the point of unity, we've seen many people in this continent talking about unity. We've seen great leaders in this continent talking about unity. Listen to Dr. Arikana.
Being here in the country of the upright man is a dream come true. To President Traore, the reincarnation of Thomas Sankara President Traore, who has led the struggle to complete the unfinished business that was started by our ancestors and our Pan-African leaders in 1963 when they created the Organization of African Unity. During that meeting, they demanded the creation of an Africa that spoke with one voice, an Africa that was united. That journey is yet to be finished. What is happening in Burkina Faso, in Mali, in Niger, is just the beginning of a revolution that is way past due for Africa. Africa must unite. And Burkina Faso has shown us the way. They have opened the doors. They have shown us that the bully can be defeated. That no more shall we continue to give up our lunch. That we too need to eat. And therefore, there is no negotiating with the bully. The bully had to go, and Burkina Faso showed us how to do it. So, Mr. President, I bring you your children, descendants of the formerly enslaved. They have waited over 400 years to return the spirits of their ancestors back home to Africa. When the children of Africa were taken out of Africa as slaves, all they ever wanted to do was to come back home to Africa. Each and every one of them that you see, many of them are coming to Africa for the first time. They are bringing with them the spirits of their ancestors to put them to rest here in Burkina Faso. And that's mission number one. Mission number two, we have watched you, Mr. President. You stand for everything that we have hoped for in an African man. Courageous, fearless, and in their faces. France, unapologetically, you told France, pack your bags and go home. You, Mr. President, and the people of Burkina Faso have done it, and we have a responsibility to support you. Yes. You have over 300 million African diaspora who are looking up to you. We are here to show you that we are with you. We support you. We are behind you, and we will not let you down. What can we do, Mr. President, to play our part in building the Burkina Faso we want?
Dr. Arikana is talking about unity. Dr. Arikana knows when Africans are united, the West will shake. The West will be terrified. Because unity is the most important thing, and it is the easiest way of revolution. Listen to PLO Lumumba talking about unity.
60 years ago, on the 24th day of May, Kwame Nkrumah warned us. He said, if we are not united, they are going to interfere with us militarily. They are going to interfere with our economy. They are going to interfere with our agriculture. They are going to interfere with our health. In other words, we Africans must stop operating in silos. Rwanda alone will not confront them. Burundi alone will not confront them. But if we go through the regional bodies and ultimately the African Union, we may indeed succeed in putting away this bulwark. And the military bases that you see here is telling you that if you don't behave, we are going to use force. Sometimes I wish, and I'm saying this seriously, that we too had a nuclear weapon, because that is what Europe and America understands.
PLO Lumumba understands, and he knows unity is the only greatest weapon we can use to revolve Africa very easily. Unity, unity, unity. Listen to the one and only, the greatest of all time, Ibrahim Traoré, talking about unity.
Il nous faut nous unir.
We must unite. The only way to unite is to talk to each other, to understand each other, and to be able to establish the basis of this unity. Young people, let me tell you that to unite, there are three words, three big screws that we must ban from our behavior and our lives. I am talking about cowardice, treachery, and incompetence. We must ban these three words from our way of life.
And this is what I want to tell you today. Natumbo Nandi Ndaitwa coming with the issue and coming with the speech of unity is very thoughtful of her. Because the only way we can revolve Africa very easily is when we come together and get and stick together and be united. Use one currency, use one military, having one president, being a state, United States of Africa. The more we become big, the more we become a threat to the world. And that is what we want to be, so they can be able to earn the respect that had lost. We must be united. We need to be united. We should be united as Africans all over. All thanks to Natumbo Nandi Ndaitwa for joining the squad, for joining the crew, for joining all other people. Talk about Ibrahim Traoré, talk about Malema Julius, talk about Dr. Arikana, talk about PLO Lumumba, and every other revolutionaries who are here, out here, who are looking forward to revolve Africa. Thank you so much for all of you. And may God bless you wherever you are, strengthen you as we are looking forward to revolve the continent of Africa. I am the African Streamline. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Atamba Heti. I salute you so much, my people from all over. I'm a black brother from Caribbean, from diaspora, and from Africa in particular. You guys and you people, I really, really, really appreciate, and I really, really, really love you wherever you are. Thank you so much for tuning in. Adios. Peace be with you.